voices blending, melodies ascending, harmony in the air. Our songs are never ending. In the barbershop we create magic. Brad and John show, yeah, it's pure classic. No instruments needed, just our vocal range. Notes flying high, it's our musical exchange. Tracy's station may try, but they can't compete. Our barbershop style, it can't be beat. Oh, the harmony of voices, so sweet. In the barbershop of life, our tunes will repeat. No need for instruments, no need for a band. Just the Brad and John show, the finest in the land.
John, what does it mean when you hear the Barbershop Boys? What does that mean?
It means it's Friday.
That is John Combest of johncombest.com fame. If you've ever seen his website before, you know it's packed with information. Well, actually, links to information. It's sort of like the Drudge Report of Missouri. But hold it. I have a cough there. Hold on just a minute, John. Already I got my cough back. Okay, what we do on Friday, we do things just a little bit different because we start off with the Barbershop Boys. And then, who do we bring in next, John? Who do we bring in next?
The Polka Boys.
The Polka Boys.
Time for the John Combest Top 3.
Every single day of his life for the past 24 years, John Combest puts together this incredible website that chronicles all the important information you should know about this going on in the state of Missouri. And matter of fact, we are proud to announce that it's not very sophisticated. Matter of fact, what version of web are you using to put this on the web, John? What version is that again?
As Dean Wormer says, 0.0.
So what we do is we bring in this guy, and what's your name, sir?
I'm Casey Kasem.
And what's your job?
Now on with the countdown.
And you can say anything more about that?
And here they are.
Anything more you want to say?
We're on our way to the number one.
And what are we going to start with?
In third place.
I'm proud to announce today that in my top 3, I have 2 follow-ups to yesterday's show. The first follow-up is from a St. Louis County story. Yesterday, we talked about the fact that a former state representative and current St. Louis County assessor named Jake Zimmerman may be entering a race for St. Louis County executive. That rumor was reported 2 days ago by Andy Banker from Fox 2 News. We talked about it on the air, and I can confirm via our friend Jason Rosenbaum at St. Louis Public Radio. Jason's headline, St. Louis County Assessor Jake Zimmerman jumps into county executive race. It's official, Brad. Here's Jason's lead. St. Louis County Assessor Jake Zimmerman is running for county exec, ensuring a Democratic primary for the post. Zimmerman announced Tuesday, now pay attention, Brad, he would forego running for re-election as assessor and instead seek the open county executive post. As we know, Sam Page is not running for re-election. He's had some legal issues, and it's probably time for Sam to move on. Brad, I think this is also interesting because it opens up what will probably, I'm speculating, will be a Democratic primary for assessor. I don't know what kind of a human being wants to be a property assessor in this modern era, but Jake is now running, so we have at least 2 qualified candidates running for, I started to say using the term qualified loosely, but I would say they're both qualified to run for St. Louis County Executive. State Senator Brian Williams, who is, by all accounts, the front runner. And then now we have Jake Zimmerman, who I think would maybe even embrace the title of underdog in the Democratic primary. And Brad, we as Republicans have a lot of fantasies, and sometimes we fantasize about winning a St. Louis County executive race. With all due respect to Dennis Hancock, who's running for St. Louis County executive, we as Republicans will not win this race in St. Louis County. The winner of the Democratic primary is most certainly guaranteed to become the next county executive. I happen to think that will be Brian Williams, but Jake Zimmerman, I'm sure, will give it a spirited run.
John, two things. First off, you said we as Republicans. I remember as an American, you're a Republican.
I know you're not, Brad. Brad, and for folks who want to hear Brad's tired story, you can go back and listen to the show yesterday in C Block. And Brad tells his I am an American, I am not a Democrat or Republican story.
I am. That's what the second thing is, I got in a little trouble yesterday about a comment I made about Jake Zimmerman. And I had a listener who took me to task who, guess what color this listener's hair is?
Are they a redhead?
Yes. And guess what color?
Are they a female or are they a male? Can you tell us that?
A female. And guess what color their son's hair is?
Oh, no. Is it red?
Yes. So I got in trouble because of the fact that I said that there's two reasons why Jake Zimmerman's not going to be. I said he was.
Now, to be fair, I was more harsh on gingers than you were. I just speculated that generally people, might have anti-ginger discrimination, right?
I remember, my whole thing with Jake Zimmerman, I remember when he became the if you remember this, he was all over like all the news stories and stuff like that. When he was the newbie assessor and he just went after everybody, went after the casinos. Remember that? The casinos are not paying their fair share. When I hear anybody say their fair share, it always bothers me because of the fact that I heard somebody the other day make this comment, at least on a federal level, that if you don't think that, like recently Mitt Romney came out and said, I don't think rich people in America pay enough taxes. And if you go onto the IRS website, there is a spot where you can go on there. Do you know what I'm talking about? You can go on there.
You can donate more money to the IRS. And you know what? Our friends like Camelia Peterson are fond of sending that link to people and saying, you want to pay more taxes? Go ahead.
Yes, right. Here's the link. Knock yourself out. There's no limit to the amount of money you can send to the IRS.
You feel like when he specifically uses the phrase like pay their fair share, you feel that's trite.
Well, it's just to the point where when you break the things down, like, for example, the deal in New York, Madami is going on about, the rich people and what is it in California? They want to pass the wealth tax where they're going to assess you not on your what your income is, but your assets, things like that.
And they're targeting radio transmitter sites.
Well,
because those guys have all the money.
Well, the problem to me is this whole thing, when you break it down, like I heard the statistics for like New York, in the state of New York, like I think it was like 35% of the taxes are paid by the top 1.5% earners. Okay. Are they paying, to me, they're paying much more than their fair share. And the people who are in the lowest, what do you call it? We talked about this decile or whatever. What is it called?
Yeah, they should pay more. I agree. I think the rich people should go to Walmart. They should stop by one of those Synchrony Bank places. They should apply for a $5,000 credit card, and they should pay a little bit more. Brad, we're pressed for time. Could we get into story number 2?
Yes, and here we go. Here is number 2.
Up a notch to number 2.
It must have been love, but it's over now. Josh was all in for MAGA, but he lost it somehow. It must have been love, but it's over now. Did you see on Truth Social? Josh's time has run out. A story from the Whispering Gallery, put together by my friend, Jake Kroesen. Senator Josh Hawley joined 4 other Republicans along with Democrats, and advancing a Senate resolution under the War Powers Act that would require congressional approval for further U.S. military action in Venezuela. Brad, it was a close vote. Hawley defended his vote as saying it was a matter of constitutional duty. I'll get to the punchline. President Trump criticized Hawley and the other Republican senators, saying they should, quote, never be elected to office again. Hawley brushed off the marks, emphasizing that the vote reflects a constitutional check on executive power. And to be fair, Brad, before we get into the discussion, here's exactly what Trump said. Republicans should be ashamed of the senators that just voted with Democrats and attempting to take away our powers to fight and defend the United States of America. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Josh Hawley, and Todd Young should never be elected to office again. It wasn't that long ago that Donald Trump was extolling the virtues of Josh Hawley. But, Trump has sent a few shots across the bow in the last few months, and this may have been the final straw. What do you think, Brad?
John, the interesting thing about this is there's all sorts of commotion about this when a Republican strays from the pack, but you never hear this happening with the Democrats because they always stay in their party lines. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I get what you're saying, and I would say that's not always a rule, but I get what you're saying there. Don't you think also the mainstream media loves to see Republicans dissent from Donald Trump anyway?
There's no doubt about that. But we all know, John, that especially in NPR, all the reporters there are Republicans, and most of them.
Yes, right-wing Republicans, actually.
Right-wing Republicans.
And they were inspired because they went to YouTube and they saw something called The Ballad of Rick and Tracy. And they were so inspired by it that they're not only anti-rhino, but they are also surprisingly anti-Kino, Christian in name only.
And what's interesting about that is John gives me this backhanded compliment. When he says something is so good, he knows I didn't do it. That is always a compliment because I did do that. That is my own editing.
Now, we do know it is yours because the captions, there's a lot of misspellings. It's very low effort on the captions. But the video is very good, Brad, and the lyrics are really good.
Low effort on the captions. Okay, we ready for number one?
Let's do it, Brad.
The number one.
For story number one today, I will point people to johncombest.com, as usual, because I have a link up to our conversation with your friend Nina Needleman yesterday. Brad, how would you describe our conversation with Nina about the Rise and Run workshop?
About our conversation or my conversation with her?
Your conversation with Nina. I mean, would you say it went pretty well?
Yeah. I mean, see, her and I had a little bit. I've known Nina for a long time. And her and I had a little bit of a dust-up over this because of the fact that when she originally sent this to me to want me to promote it, I guess it's been 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think we talked about this. We talked about this on the air, didn't we? Didn't we talk about this on the air?
We did. It was before Christmas.
Right. And when I told her, I said I'd be more than happy to be a speaker. And she says, no, only women only. And I'm going, what?
Well, you were not born with a vag.
Right.
And therefore, you were not welcome. Now, Brad, I included it as number one because you will remember during your interview yesterday with Nina, I prompted you on a few things because I wanted to see who some of the speakers were and what the caliber was. And I want to gently correct your friend Nina on a few things, if you don't mind. Do you mind if I correct Nina on a few things?
Go ahead.
I suggested that you ask her who was going to run the fundraising section. And remember, Nina said she was going to run that, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, she's not. Nina is not running the fundraising section. Nina actually booked the top Democrat fundraiser in Missouri, Angela Bingaman. So Angela has a long, extensive history as being the top Democrat fundraiser. I mean, certainly in the St. Louis area and probably in the state of Missouri. I don't know why Nina would say that she was doing the fundraising segment of the workshop when Angela's actually doing it. So I'm not going to read Angela's resume here, but she's been the fundraiser of record for Mayor Francis Slade, Charlie Dooley, a whole host of names that you would recognize, Brad. The incoming county executive in St. Louis, Brian Williams, Angela used to do fundraising for him. If Brian was smart, he would probably try to get Angela on the phone this weekend and lock her services down before someone else snatches her up. But Brad, so I wanted to correct that. And I know Nina is maybe of a certain age and it might have slipped her mind, but Angela's been on the books for quite a while to do that. And in fact, Angela is not only doing the fundraising portion of the workshop, but she's also doing a segment called How to Create a Budget. So I wanted to call that out because Angela is a headliner caliber speaker, and I don't know why Nina chose not to promote her. But also I would point out that when Nina was reading her script robotically on the air yesterday, she forgot to mention two other headliners. One of them is Gene Evans, the former executive director of the Missouri Republican Party, and also Tracy McCreery, who's a state senator widely respected by both sides of the political spectrum. They are doing a seminar, I guess you could call it a presentation called One Woman Matters, How to Collaborate and Why Now is Important. So, Brad, one of the frustrating things that I tried to accomplish this morning and couldn't do you remember what Nina told you when you ask her where folks can find out more information?
Boy, you're going to be tough on her, aren't you? You're really picking this apart.
No, I'm not. I'm helping Nina. And listen, I want to put this as an aside. Nina is underwriting this whole thing. If you go to the one web property that actually promotes this, it highlights that Nina is underwriting this. So unlike a lot of people who just talk about doing things, Nina is actually paying for this. She's not only organizing it, but she's underwriting it. She gives herself, of course, credit in the promotional materials for underwriting it, but she underwrites it, Brad. So I'm giving her credit for this. Brad, do you remember what Nina said when you asked her where folks can find out more information?
Well, first off, and let me come back to that. I've known Nina for a long time, and Nina is one of those people that gets involved, and she rolls up her sleeves, and not only rolls up her sleeves, but she gets out her checkbook. And
that's important, Brad. We need people like that.
Right, exactly. And her and her husband, she's been divorced for a while, but her husband was a musician, and they were super monster donors to KDHX. I mean, they wrote some.
And that is awesome, Brad. Thank you for the mini bio. When you asked Nina where folks can find out more information, what did she tell you?
I can't remember. Did she give me a website? I don't remember.
No, she said, I will send you a QR code.
That's
did
right.
She send you a QR code, Brad?
She did. She sent me a QR code.
Okay. So I tried to find the sign-up page today, and I went there, and it tried to charge me $50 to attend. Now, I cannot attend because I was born with male genitalia, so I'm not welcome. However, there's no agenda to speak of on the internet. If I was, I don't know, promoting an event like this and organizing an event like this, and I had booked speakers the caliber of Tracy McCreery and Gene Evans and Angela Bingaman, among others, I would probably put in a little bit of effort to make it easy for folks to sign up. The first 50 registrants, according to Nina, get in free. Brad, when you go to the registration page, there's nothing that gives you a prompt to sign up for free. And if there are still spots available, and Nina has been organizing this for months, I don't know why there aren't already 50 people signed up. If I'm someone the caliber of Gene Evans or Tracy or Angela, and I walk into the Spelman Center on January 30th, and I see 40 people there, and 20 of them are Sue Shear Institute types, smelling like polyester pantsuits and a 1991 bottle of White Diamonds, I'm going to wonder why Nina didn't put in any effort to promote this. And by the way, Brad, one more thing. Nina says that one of the speakers there, one of the presenters, is named Jami Antwi Cox. To quote the Ting Tings, that's not her name. That's not her name. That's not her name. That's not her name. Her name, Brad, is Jami Cox Antwi. Now, in defense of a lot of the Sue Shear Institute types, you know, it's probably been decades since they've seen some Cox Antwi, I mean. So, Brad, I would just suggest that maybe if I was a presenter at this thing, maybe I would lean on Nina a little bit to start promoting it. Or here's a radical idea. One of your talents, Brad, one of the things you're so good at, even though I give you trouble about it, are vanity URLs. So when people ask Nina, hey, how can I go to this event? I want to hear Tracy McCreery. She's awesome. I want to hear Daniela Velasquez. She's awesome. I don't say, I'll send you a QR code. Maybe, Nina Needlepoint, you need to have a domain that's memorable that people can go to and sign up. If you are putting together an event with the caliber of these speakers, you owe it to them to be better than average. And the thing about the DEI crowd, Brad, while I'm on my soapbox, I don't read my resume here, but I think most people know my resume, the level that I worked at certain places. I work next to a bunch of girl power people and DEI hires. And it's great as long as they're competent. Just like it's great to work next to a white man as long as they're competent. Brad, how often do I give you trouble for not executing perfectly?
All the time.
All the time, Brad, because you hold people that you work with to a certain standard. If I'm Tracy or Gene or Angela or Wendy Houseman, and I've put together a presentation and I'm driving all the way to St. Charles, I expect the people that put this together to promote it properly, to get my freaking name right, to give me credit for being a headliner. And I better not show up at the Spelman Center and see 30 geriatrics sitting around. I'm going to wonder, why didn't Nina actually promote my event? So Nina, maybe get off your tookus and start doing this right.
Boy, she'll never talk to me again after this.
Brad, and I don't care. And the thing is, I would love to have had a link today. It's embarrassing to tell you how many minutes I spent between 4:30 a.m., and I don't brag about how early I get up, between 4:30 and 5 a.m., trying to find a workable link to send people to from johncombest.com. And there's nothing, Brad. There's no agenda. Why are you not touting Angela Bingaman? Why are you not touting Gene Evans here? Have a little respect for your speakers. You know what I found, Brad? I found a bunch of rinky-dink Facebook posts with 8 followers. There are 28 townships in St. Louis County. Why is every Democrat and Republican committee woman not invited to this thing? Why are they not asked to promote this on their social properties, Brad? You know what this is? Does Nina want to be a mediocre, pantsuit wearing, middling Sue Shear Institute frump, or does she actually want to run a professional event?
Hold on a minute. Now I hear the air being leaked out of my tires. I see Nina out in the parking lot. She's slashing my tires right now.
Brad, you own 4 vehicles. I shed not one tear for you.
Okay. Can I make a comment about this? And you bring up a very interesting point, okay? If I'm not mistaken, and this is not sour grapes on my part, but for the last couple of times, I've been invited as a guest speaker for the St. Charles County Republican Central Committee to talk about what their candidate university, whatever they call it.
That's right. You've talked about media before.
Right. I believe it's tomorrow, correct? Isn't it?
I have no idea.
I have to take a look because I think it's tomorrow. Well, I was not invited this year. That's fine. I get it. But what bothered me, remember we talked about this on the air, I gave the list of speakers, and there was not one single person on there that had anything to do with media. And once again, not to the point where if Brad shows up, he's not going to talk radio all the time. In fact, when I do these events, I probably talk more about social media and digital and video and stuff like that than I do a radio, okay? That's what, and you just brought up an interesting point. People make fun of me for buying domain names, but there's the perfect example. When you want to buy my course to lose weight, you go to fastfoodmediet.com. It takes you right to the page where you can find out about the course and you buy it. You want to find out about the perfect traffic stop, you go to perfecttrafficstop.com, and it takes you right to the page where you can sign up and buy the course, okay? People make fun of me for that, but it works, John, and you just pointed it out.
It works every time. And by the way, I make fun of you for it, but it works.
It does. And the crazy thing about it is you buy a .com, it costs me I think it's like $18 or something like that. And I'm thinking people go, I probably own about 80 domains. I know people make fun of me. The smartest woman in the world has a running joke that when I die, she's going to have a headstone with all my domain names on it, and the headstone's going to be 10 feet tall because that's what it's
you're going to be able to see it from space. Brad, we're almost over time. Should we wrap up?
No, let's keep talking about Nina some more. Oh, no, okay. Yes, let's wrap up before Nina show, or Nina. Can't see that's... Nina?
You shouldn't be upset about mispronouncing her name. She can't even say the name of the speakers that are at her event.
Nina D'Angelo is the lady who used to be in the O'Fallon Chamber of Commerce, and Nita Needleman. They spell their name the same way, but it's Nina and Nita, and I always get them backwards. Okay.
I will always defend Nina Needlepoint, Brad.